Today, I'm going to show you a simple technique that can dramatically improve your fluency. And it just takes 5 minutes a day. Hello, my friends. It's Keith from the Keith Speaking Academy. And here today to help you become a more fluent speaker of English. Now, this one technique I mentioned is called the chunking method. Now, you've probably heard of this. I've talked about it a little bit before, but I want to make it crystal clear, super easy for you today so that you can start practicing this straight away today and get into that habit of 5 minutes a day practicing this chunking. Sound good? Great. So in this video, I'm going to show you how this works, how you can practice, and then we'll finish up with a little story to review this. Let's do it. Now then, one of the reasons you're not fluent yet is probably because you focus on individual words. And this is quite normal for students to do. The thing is, proficient speakers and native speakers, we don't focus on individual words. We focus on chunks, 2 or 3 words together. We speak with chunks and we think in chunks. If you focus on individual words, it slows you down, and it's because normally you've learned through writing and reading English. And so you're focusing on the written word that you see is individual words. But when we speak, we don't think in words, we think in sounds, and we speak with sounds. So each chunk is a sound rather than an individual word, right? When I say, I don't say when I say when I say. When I say. It sounds almost Japanese. When I say. But I think in sounds. And so it's much easier to speak with more flow and more fluently. It's a bit like when you go shopping and you take bananas. And if you take an individual banana, put it in your bag, and another, boom, and another, it's quite slow. If you take a bunch of bananas, it's much quicker. And it's the same with chunks. It's a bunch of words put into one sound. That's the secret. Now, there are different kinds of chunks. There are grammatical chunks and there are lexical chunks. Let me give you a few examples today. Grammatical chunks, we've got verb chunks like I tend to, I'm used to, I find it easy to, I'd like to. Okay. Adverbial chunks, I'm sure you know, at the moment, by and large, at the end of the day. And when we say these, we just say them as one sound, one chunk, right? By and large, by and large, meaning, generally speaking, by and large, okay? So, verb chunks, adverbial chunks. So these chunks are our building blocks, and as we put them together, we build and speak with more flow and more fluency. And the more you use them, and the more you think in this way, the more fluent you're going to become. Let's move on. Great, let's have a look at this 5 minute a day fluency drill. So we're going to look at 3 chunks, 3 verb chunks that we can practice with. And then later we'll add some adverb chunks. So the verb chunk is what you do. The adverb chunk is how you do it. And then we'll start building with blocks. So the first chunk we've got is over here. I tend to do something, meaning I usually do something. It's a habit, right? I tend to. Okay. So instead of saying I tend to, we say I tend to. That means repeat. I tend to. Wake up early. Wake up early. Another chunk. Wake up early. Good. Together, I tend to wake up early. Got it. Hear the difference between I tend to wake up early and I tend to wake up early. Totally different building blocks rather than individual words. Let's try another one. I tend to have a big breakfast. Great, that's true for me. Tell me something true for you. Really? Another one. I tend to drink tea. Okay, I tend to drink tea. Great. And you? 3 chunks now. I tend to get nervous before meetings. Right, you've got it. Okay, so what we can do, we're just kind of repeating these little chunks. Let's move on to chunk number 2, which is I am used to doing something. So instead of I am used to, it's I'm used to. I'm used to. That's it. Getting up early. That's another chunk. Getting up early. I'm used to getting up early. I'm used to working on my own. 3 chunks, right? I'm used to working on my own. I'm used to working on my own. I'm used to living in the countryside. Okay. Again, 3 chunks. I'm used to living in the countryside. We put them all together with a bit of intonation. I'm used to living in the countryside. It's almost 1 chunk, right? The more you do it, the better you get at it. Chunk number 3, I find it easy to do something. Okay. For example, for me, I find it easy to cook. Okay. The difference again between I find it easy to cook, I find it easy to cook. Practice that little chunk. I find it easy. I find it easy. Yeah. I find it easy to learn languages. I find it easy to stay organized. And you? Excellent. Good. Now, let's start combining a bit. Let's start adding some adverb chunks. Do you remember, like, at the moment? Okay. So, I might say, at the moment, I tend to wake up early. Kind of 3 chunks, right? At the moment, I tend to wake up early. I'm slowing it down a bit so you can hear the chunks. Obviously, as you put them together, I would say, at the moment, I tend to wake up early. I have the intonation, but that comes later. Just focus on the chunks first. Another one. Right now, I'm used to living on my own. Okay, we've got this adverbial chunk and the verb chunk. Another one. By and large, I find it easy to stay organized. Stay organized or stay focused? Stay organized, yes. By and large, I find it easy to stay organized. And what I could start to do is